Welcome back to a brand new episode of Third and Goal. It is the conference championship weekend, and none of us have a dog in the fight, unfortunately. So we are going to spend a couple of seconds to grieve and just reminisce on that last weekend. So we'll start with Justin. Rams took an L. How are you feeling?
Yeah, it didn't end up being all that competitive of a game. I think looking back on it, it could have been a different game had Aaron Donald and Jared Goff been fully healthy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think it's kind of crazy Jared Goff had to be trying to do these playoff games with basically just coming off a broken thumb. I mean, how exactly do you throw a football accurately with that kind of injury? But and Aaron Donald, one of the things that stuck out to me in this game was there was no pressure on Aaron Rodgers. I mean, he had all day to throw in pretty much every play, and it's just going up against that elite of a quarterback, you can't let that happen. So, not close in the end. Rams had some injuries, and you just have to eat humble pie on that one.
Yeah. Aaron Rodgers, you can't. I'm telling you, Aaron Rodgers in playoffs. Even though I do feel for the Rams because you have Jared Goff. I mean, he'll be coming. Don't worry, you guys will definitely be back in the playoffs next year. But I mean, to play through a broken thumb in a playoff game, that's pretty impressive. Got to give it up to Jared Goff, true soldier right there on that one. Moving on to Ross.
I don't want.
How are you holding up, bro?
I'm all right. I've had time to process what has happened. Just like what happened with the Rams, we couldn't get jack for pressure on Josh Allen. He fell one time, got up, and still completed a pass. Dude fell. I was like, oh, what? I'm good. Okay. Meanwhile, we got dead center snapping the ball on the ground over our heads.
Yeah.
Nothing going right. Tucker, I don't know who he was, where the real Tucker was then.
Billy Cundiff show up? Was that Billy?
I think, I don't know, because he hit the upright. Cundiff missed his.
Yeah, I mean, you got to give it up to Justin Tucker, though. I mean, even when he misses, it's accurate. I mean, come on, to hit both goalposts. I mean, come on. But that was a pretty crazy way to end the Ravens 2020 campaign.
With Lamar in the locker room.
Huh?
Lamar was in the locker room. Our season ended with Hundley out there.
Yeah, I mean, hey, Hundley looked good. And actually, before I continue, there is a link above me somewhere, above us, that you can actually watch the newest episode of Charm City Beat where we talk a little bit more about the game. But yeah, talking about Huntley, man, I liked him. I'm not going to lie. I mean, he cost RG3 his job. You saw they cut RG3 ASAP. And signed Tyler to a futures deal, which is great for him. Undrafted free agent, in a playoff game. I mean, 2020 has been pretty crazy, but to have, just in general, the amount of backups that even got playing time in a playoffs was just pretty incredible in itself. So, yeah. I mean, but
Can one of you guys explain to me real quickly, how the Ravens only got 3 points in the game?
All right, so you know what? That hurts, actually. So that is a product of what happens where everything and anything can happen to a team that doesn't pass a lot. Anything that could go wrong went wrong. Lamar, concussion, Justin Tucker missing kicks due to crazy wind conditions. I mean,
yeah, I don't know. NBC needs to get some new equipment because I don't know what they were saying. 7 miles per hour, my ass.
Yeah, that
uprights were moving. Liars.
You also had, again, a situation where the snaps were bad. They're not able to get the right routes. I mean, the defense looked great. The defense looked amazing. In fact, the defense was the one highlight of the game, I think. They held the Bills, who arguably had one of the best offensive fences in the league, to 10 points. That's incredible. That's nothing short of amazing. But the offense just could not help the defense out, and that's why we're sitting here.
Well, you go back and look at the drive that they had the interception on. They did what they needed to do.
Yeah.
The play before the interception, Lamar had no time. Hollywood was wide open, crossing the middle. Yeah. We need a new right side of our line.
Yeah. I mean, you got Ronnie Stanley out, who's arguably one of the best left tackles in the NFL, where he had to move Orlando Brown over. That's a very weak side of the line, not to mention they couldn't get a snap right to save their lives. So, yeah,
No.
Lamar doesn't have a lot of time, where I do believe he benefits from a lot of time in the pocket just to read the defense, which hopefully that can improve where we can get the ball out faster in these situations. But, yeah.
And plus,
it was just
those
a
two
shit
bad
show.
snaps, any other quarterback, those two bad snaps, that leads to a safety
Yeah.
and a sack for a 18-yard loss.
Yeah.
Without Lamar, those bad snaps cost way more.
You're not wrong,
And
dude.
that is not the first time.
Definitely. But it is conference championship weekend. We are going to try to put the divisional round behind us and look ahead to conference. And we'll start in the NFC first. We have the Buccaneers and Tom Brady, who's over 40 and still looking about as good as he did, 10 years ago, in the playoffs against Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay. Who would have ever thought we would have seen that as a pre-Super Bowl playoff matchup? I mean, two of the best, 12 versus 12. Justin, what are your thoughts?
Well, it's certainly a tough pick 'em here because I think you can make an argument for either team to win, but I'm going to say Packers. And I'm just looking at the fact that when I saw the Rams play them, and granted the Rams had some issues they were dealing with, but just like how good a protection they had, how well their defense was playing. Aaron Rodgers back to form. I mean, you remember last season, Aaron Rodgers wasn't all that great. He's back to form now, and he's got several years younger than Tom Brady, so he's got that a little bit of that going in his favor too. I mean, both quarterbacks are really great in playoffs. You could argue Brady's better in playoffs, obviously, but I think ultimately these are two really high quality teams going at it here. But I just like the Packers here. And really the home field advantage doesn't factor into it a whole lot for me, but I just think their team is hot and don't really have any weaknesses.
Yeah. Ross?
Yeah, I'm going with Justin on this one. And it's not just because of my hatred for Tom Brady, which has subsided since he left New England, but Aaron Rodgers is hot. Devontae Adams is hot. I'm still going to say home field advantage is going to have an effect. I'm sure the weather's going to be crappy. It's Green Bay. It's playoffs. Yes, Brady has played on that all his time in New England, but the Bucs haven't.
Yeah.
So, Green Bay.
Yeah, I'm going to piggyback on that as well. I'm going to say Green Bay. It's Aaron Rodgers in the playoffs, and Aaron Rodgers he just looks amazing out there. The team has great chemistry. Now, not to count Tom Brady and the Bucs out, because Tom Brady and the Bucs have done what they needed to do, and they've done it on the road. But I just think their road comes to an end in Green Bay. It's Wisconsin in January. That's a brutal place to play. Like Ross said, Tom Brady's played it in New England. He's used to the cold. He's used to the snow. But Tampa, it's a beautiful place to live. So they're not used to those temperatures, and I think that could be the biggest X factor here. I mean, you're looking at two pretty evenly matched squads, two of the greatest quarterbacks to ever step on the field, going toe-to-toe in the NFC Championship. I mean, that's great football right there, but I'm pulling for Green Bay here.
29 in snow.
29 in snow. Okay.
29 in snow is what they're calling for right now.
Yeah, that's going to be a brutal.
And for what it's worth, I know I said that I don't expect the home field advantage to play a huge factor here, but it is worth noting that Green Bay does actually have some fans in their stadium. It's not an empty.
It helped in Buffalo.
Buffalo
had fans.
Yep.
And they got pretty loud during that Rams game.
Yeah. I mean, the fans definitely make a difference when, most of the fans that are there are 100% mostly, well, maybe not 100, maybe about 80, 95% home field, where in normal game it's a little bit more split, normal times. Yeah, that could definitely play a difference. That noise if they make enough noise in Green Bay, yeah, it definitely could change it up. Now, moving on to the AFC, where in the NFC we had two of the legends going toe-to-toe. We have two of the up-and-coming future legends going toe-to-toe, and what is looking to be another very evenly matched game. course, the X factor being Andy Reid and his Chiefs. They're at home versus the Buffalo Bills. Now, Josh Allen, we've seen what he can do. We know what Pat Mahomes can do. Two great quarterbacks. I think it's a similar situation there. Ross, what do you think, man?
Well, this is an interesting one. I'm rooting for the Bills, but I'm picking the Chiefs. Mahomes is playing. Shocker. I don't know why anyone thought he wasn't going to.
Yeah.
Crazy people. But it's Mahomes. He's been off lately. Like I heard earlier, he hasn't had one of those screw you games lately. Bills, they're not bad. Like I said, I'm rooting for them. I respect the hell out of them. Chiefs, I don't hate them either, but like I said, once again, though, that home field, they have fans, and weather won't play a factor because it's Buffalo. You saw what we played in last week, but I just think that crazy walrus of a head coach, Andy Reid, dude went for it on 4th and 2 from his 50-yard line with Chad Henne. That was Chad Henne's first ever playoff game.
Yeah. I mean, where do you think John Harbaugh gets that from? Yeah. Justin, what do you think, man?
Well, I think Bills fans, if you're a Bills fan, obviously you're hoping for a win and for them to finally have a shot at winning a Super Bowl rather than just going to it and losing. But I think that as long as Mahomes is playing, that the Chiefs will be able to come away with the win. And it is a fairly evenly matched here in the sense that, I look at it, the Chiefs have a slightly better offense, the Bills have a slightly better defense, but I just think the Chiefs have enough firepower to crack that Bills defense, whereas a lot of other teams haven't been able to do it. I think they're going to be able to do it, especially not having to play away. I just think the stars are going to align for the Chiefs and they'll win.
I'm going to go upset alert again. I went upset alert last week. I'm going to do it again. I'm going with the Bills. I think that it's going to be, number one, probably one of the better football games this year. I mean, we've had quite a few good games, but I think this easily could be a very explosive game. You have two great offenses going against each other. Now, again, the Chiefs' offense is slightly better, but I just think the Bills' defense might be able to hold them just enough. Now, it's very rare that the Chiefs are stopped, but I don't know. I just have a good feeling about the Bills. The way they played against the Ravens, I don't think that is contingent on I don't think that's who they are. I think they came up against one of the best defenses in the NFL. And if it wasn't for a couple of bad snaps and a few bad kicks, the Ravens could be here playing the Chiefs. But that's not the case here. But no, I think the Bills honestly bounce back. And yeah, I think they get their shot into the Super Bowl. I think they cement this Cinderella season. They play Green Bay in the Super Bowl, and then who knows what happens from there. That's also next week. I
will like to say, though, these are both matchups or rematches that happened week 6. Let's not forget, Green Bay got destroyed by Tampa.
Yeah.
So that's why they're going to get their payback. Kansas City ran the hell over the Bills. Granted, they had Edwards-Helaire then, and it's going to be raining, so passing game could be down. But we'll see.
I mean, when you got the passing game down, though, in Buffalo, you have Josh Allen, who is a true dual threat quarterback who can do both pretty damn good.
They ran one time in the first half against this, Gerald.
Again, I said that last week isn't the Bills of this year.
They have their running backs. They have one running back.
Again, we'll see. But I'm going for the upset here. I want to.
I'm rooting for him. I'm rooting for him. Just gonna pick him.
Yeah, my biggest logic is also we need to split the vote count. I think we're all like tied. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna be an outlier. I'm gonna take a chance. We're gonna see what happens. But that does it for our show. It is conference championship weekend. We have two great football games, four great teams, and only 2 tickets to the Super Bowl. Who will be there? We will see after Sunday. But as for Justin, Ross, and myself, That does it for this week's episode. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and also stay tuned for a lot more content coming. Take care.